The great hall of Luna Station gleamed under artificial lights. Outside the massive windows, Earth hung in space like a blue marble. Inside, Captain Tay stood with his hands behind his back, watching the alien ships dock. This was the 5th time in 10 years. The 5th time they came with their offers and promises. Lieutenant Hannah walked up beside him. She carried a datapad and looked worried. "Sir, the diplomatic team just arrived. Ambassador Velthor is leading them again." Tay nodded slowly. "Of course he is. The Quarians never give up easily. Should we expect the same speech as last time?" Hannah asked. "Probably, but we'll listen politely. Just like always." Tay turned from the window and straightened his uniform. "Let's not keep them waiting." The delegation entered the meeting room with great ceremony. Ambassador Velfair stood at the center, his tall frame covered in ceremonial robes that shimmered purple and gold. Behind him stood representatives from a dozen different species. Some walked on 2 legs, others on 4. One floated in a containment field, its body made of living energy. Velthar raised his 3-fingered hand in greeting. "Captain Tay, Lieutenant Hannah, it is an honor to meet with humanity once again." Tay returned the gesture with a simple nod. "Ambassador, welcome back to Luna Station. Please, sit." The aliens settled into their seats, some with difficulty, as the furniture was designed for humans. Velthar remained standing, clearly preparing to make another grand speech. "5 times now we have extended our invitation," Velthar began. His voice was deep and melodic. 5 times humanity has stood at the threshold of greatness. The Galactic Council represents 847 star systems, thousands of species, billions of years of combined knowledge and wisdom. Hannah typed notes on her datapad, her face neutral. Velthar continued, his voice rising with emotion. "We offer UFTL technology that can cross the galaxy in days instead of years. Medical advances that will let your people live for 400 years instead of 100. We offer protection from hostile forces that lurk in the dark spaces between stars. We offer you seats of power in the council chambers, where you can help shape the future of all civilized worlds." The other aliens nodded and made sounds of agreement. One of them, a creature covered in scales, spoke up. "We even offer immediate membership status. No probationary period. This has never been done before. It shows how much we value humanity." Tay listened to it all. He had heard similar words 4 times before. Different speakers, same message. "Join us. Give up your independence. Accept our help." When Velthar finally finished, the room fell silent. Everyone turned to look at Tay. The captain stood up slowly. He walked to the window and looked out at Earth. "Ambassador Velthor, representatives of the Galactic Council. On behalf of the Earth Defense Force and the United Earth Government, I thank you for your generous offer." Velthar's face brightened. Several aliens leaned forward hopefully. However, Tay continued, turning back to face them. "Humanity must respectfully decline your invitation to join the Galactic Council." The change in the room was immediate. Velthar's face fell. The scaled alien made a hissing sound of disbelief, the floating energy being pulsed with what might have been anger. "But why?" Velthor stammered. "No species has ever refused council membership, not once in 10,000 years. And you have refused 5 times. Hannah stood up beside Tay. She spoke calmly. "We appreciate everything the council offers, truly, but humanity has chosen to chart its own course through the stars." "Your own course?" A reptilian alien stood up, his voice harsh. "You barely have functional FTL drives. Your medical technology is primitive. You have explored only a handful of systems. What course can you possibly chart without our help?" Tay met the alien's angry gaze without flinching. "Our own course? That's what matters to us." Velthor raised his hand to silence the reptilian. The ambassador looked genuinely confused now, not just frustrated. "Captain Tay, please help me understand. Is it pride? Do you believe humanity is superior to us?" "No," Tay said simply. "We don't think we're better than you. We just think we need to find our own way. That makes no sense." Another alien spoke up, a being with multiple eyes. Why would anyone choose the hard path when an easy one is offered freely? Hannah smiled slightly. Because the hard path is ours. Velthor sat down heavily. He looked tired now. I must return to the council and report another failure. They will not understand this. I do not understand this. We're sorry to disappoint you, Tay said, and he sounded genuinely apologetic. We hope the council can accept our decision and that we can remain on friendly terms. Friendly terms? The scaled alien laughed bitterly. You reject our friendship? No, Tay corrected. We reject membership. Friendship doesn't require us to join your government. The meeting ended shortly after. The aliens filed out, most of them muttering among themselves in various languages. Velthor paused at the door and looked back at Tay. One day, Captain, you may regret this choice. The galaxy is more dangerous than you know. Perhaps Tay agreed, but it will be our choice to regret. When the aliens were gone, Hannah turned to Tay. Do you think they'll come back again? Maybe, maybe not. Tay returned to the window, but the answer will be the same. The council won't like this. Fifth rejection. They might take it as an insult. Let them. He crossed his arms. We didn't fight our way to the stars just to hand control over to someone else. Hannah joined him at the window. Together they watched the alien ships undock and prepare to jump to faster than light speed. Far away. Beyond human space, the council chambers erupted in alarm when Velthar's report arrived. Emergency sessions were called. Ancient council members who had not spoken in decades demanded answers. How could these humans refuse? What did they know that the council did not? For the first time in 10,000 years, the Galactic Council faced a species that did not want their help. It terrified them. It confused them. It made them wonder what humanity was planning in the shadows of that same council chamber. An old being named Ixnar watched the chaos with ancient eyes. Unlike the others, he was not alarmed. He was fascinated. These humans were different. Very different, and different, Ixnar knew. Could be either wonderful or terrible. Time would tell which one humanity would be. The council's response came swiftly and secretly. If humanity would not accept friendship openly, then the council would learn their secrets quietly. Agent Una received her orders on a secure channel. She sat in her small apartment on Mars Colony, reading the encrypted message 3 times. The words were clear. Infiltrate Earth's government. Find out why humanity kept refusing. Report everything. Una was human by birth, but she had lived among the aliens since she was a child. Her parents had been scientists working on an illegal research station. When Earth authorities shut it down, the council had taken her in. They raised her, educated her, trained her. Now she worked for them. She looked at her reflection in the window. Human face, human body, but was she still human inside? She did not know anymore. The infiltration was easier than expected. Earth's government was open compared to Council's security. Within 2 weeks, Una had a job in the Department of Interstellar Affairs. Within a month, she had access to classified files. What she found surprised her. Humanity was not sitting idle. While they refused Council technology, they were building their own. Research stations across 50 systems worked on original designs. They studied physics from first principles. They took nothing for granted. In a facility on Europa, she watched a man named Kai work. He was young, maybe 30 years old, with tired eyes and quick hands. He stood before a massive engine core, making adjustments with tools that looked primitive compared to Council technology. How much longer? His supervisor asked. Kai wiped sweat from his forehead. 2 weeks, maybe 3. The calculations are complex. The Admiral wants results. The Admiral will get results when the drive doesn't explode. Kai smiled slightly. Tell Wu to be patient. Una recorded everything. She sent reports every 3 days. The Council read them with growing concern. Humans were developing their own FTL drive. Not based on Council designs. Something completely different. Admiral Wu commanded Earth's first fleet from a station near Neptune. Yuna managed to attend a military briefing by claiming she was writing a report on fleet readiness. Wu was older than Kai, maybe 50, with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. He stood before a holographic display showing human ships. "Our current drives are slow," Wu told his officers. "We copied what we could from captured pirate vessels. But that's not enough. We need our own technology. Something the Council hasn't seen before. Why not just accept their offer?" One young officer asked. "Their drives are faster than anything we have." Wu turned to look at the officer. "And when they decide humans have become too powerful? When they want to limit our expansion? What happens when we depend completely on their technology and they take it away?" The officer went quiet. "Independence means having our own tools," Wu continued. "Our own weapons. Our own engines. Yes, it's harder. Yes, it takes longer. But it means we control our own destiny." Yuna sent this conversation to the Council that night. Their response came quickly. They wanted more information. How close were humans to completing their drive? What other secrets were they keeping? She dug deeper. She found records of test flights in deep space, far from Council sensors. She found design documents for weapons that combined human and alien principles in new ways. She found training programs teaching human soldiers tactics that no Council military used. One file caught her attention. It was labeled Independent Research Initiative. Inside, she found the truth. 50 years ago, when the Council first contacted humanity, Earth's leaders had made a secret decision. They would smile and be polite. They would trade for basic goods, but they would never, ever become dependent on alien technology. Every piece of Council technology that entered human space was studied, reverse-engineered, and improved. Every alien ship that crashed or was captured became a learning opportunity. Humanity was building a foundation of knowledge that belonged to them alone. Yuna stared at the files late into the night. She'd been sending reports for 2 months. The Council knew most of this by now. But did they understand what it meant? She wrote a new report. This one was different from the others. Humanity refuses Council membership because they do not trust us. They have studied history. They know what happens to species that become dependent on others. They become controlled, limited, eventually absorbed. Humans would rather struggle alone than thrive as subordinates. She hesitated before sending it. This report did not just state facts. It gave conclusions. It made her sound sympathetic to humanity. She sent it anyway. The Council's response was immediate and angry. They did not want her opinions. They wanted facts. They wanted proof. They wanted to know when humanity would finish their FTL drive. 3 weeks later, Kai succeeded. Yuna was not present for the test, but she saw the recordings. A small human ship jumped from Mars to Jupiter in 3 hours. The Council's best drives took 5 hours for the same distance. The human drive was faster. She wrote her report with shaking hands. This changed everything. Humanity did not just want independence. They were achieving it. In 50 years, they had built technology that matched or exceeded Council standards. The Council's response was 3 words: return immediately. Urgent. Yuna packed her things. She prepared to leave Earth. But before she went, she made a decision that surprised her. She went to see Kai. She found him in his workshop, celebrating with his team. They were drinking, laughing, proud of their achievement. "Congratulations," Yuna said from the doorway. Kai turned, surprised. "Thanks. You're from the Affairs Department, right? Here to write a report?" "Something like that." Yuna stepped inside. "Can I ask you a question?" "Sure. Why work so hard?" "Why not just use Council technology? It would save you years of effort." Kai's smile faded. He looked serious now. "Because then it wouldn't be ours. Every human who uses that drive will know that we've built it. With our own hands, our own minds, that matters. Even if it costs more, takes longer, results in more failures. Especially then." Kai looked at his hands, scarred from years of work. "My grandfather used to say that free people build their own tools. Only slaves use tools, given by masters." Yuna felt something crack inside her chest, a feeling she had not experienced in years. Doubt she left Europa that night. She returned to Council Space and delivered her reports in person. She stood before a committee of ancient beings and told them everything. Humanity will never join the Council, she concluded. Not as junior members. Not as equals. They want complete independence. That is unacceptable, one council member said. It is unprecedented, said another. Councillor Ixnar, the oldest being present, spoke quietly. It is inevitable. We cannot force them. We should not want to. Then what do we do? Demanded a younger member. Ixnar looked at Yuna. We wait, and we watch. And when they need us, we hope they remember we offered friendship. And if they never need us, then we learn from them, Ixnar said simply. Yuna was dismissed. She returned to her quarters and sat in the darkness. She thought about Kai's words. About his scarred hands. About humans building their own future. For the first time in 20 years, she wondered if she had chosen the wrong side. The warning came from the outer rim, where Council Space touched the unknown regions. A distress signal, then silence. Then 3 more colonies went dark in the same week. The Krell Dominion had begun its expansion in the council chambers. Panic spread like fire. The Krell were an old enemy, driven back centuries ago to the dark edges of known space. But they had not been destroyed. They had been waiting, growing stronger, building their fleets. Now they were back. Ambassador Velthar stood before the emergency assembly. We need allies. We need every available ship. The perimeter fleets are already mobilizing, a military commander reported. But intelligence suggests the Krell force is massive. Larger than anything we've seen from them. What about the humans? Someone asked. The chamber went silent. They refused our friendship 5 times, another council member said bitterly. Why would they help us now? Councillor Ixnar spoke from his seat. Because the Krell will not stop at council borders. They will sweep through human space too. The humans may be independent, but they are not fools. Far from the council chambers in the border regions between human and council space, Colonel Hayan received his orders. Take 3 ships. Scout the Krell activity. Avoid engagement if possible. Hyun read the orders twice, then deleted them. He turned to his second officer. Change of plans. We're going hunting. Sir, the orders clearly state. I read the orders. Now listen to mine. Hyun pulled up a star map. The Krell scout party will pass through this asteroid field in 6 hours. We'll be waiting. His crew knew better than to argue. Hyun had a reputation. He never followed standard tactics. He never fought fair, and he never lost. The 3 human ships took position among the asteroids. They powered down all systems except passive sensors. They waited in the darkness and the cold. The Krell ships arrived exactly on schedule. 5 vessels, heavily armed, moving in perfect formation. Standard council tactics would engage them head-on, Hyun muttered. Predictable, boring, ineffective. So what do we do, sir? His weapons officer asked. We make them think we're not here. Hyon smiled. Then we hit them from 6 directions at once. The human ships had modified their engines based on Kai's new designs. They could move faster and more quietly than anything the Krell expected. Hyun used this advantage ruthlessly. His ships split up. They approached from different angles, using the asteroids as cover. They fired missiles programmed to take indirect paths, bouncing off rocks to come at the Krell from unexpected directions. The Krell formation broke apart in confusion. Their sensors showed weapons fire coming from everywhere and nowhere. By the time they understood what was happening, 2 of their ships were crippled. Hyun pressed the attack. His ships never stayed in one place long enough to be targeted. They used the asteroids like shields, appearing and disappearing, striking and vanishing. 15 minutes later, all 5 Krell ships were destroyed or disabled. Any casualties on our side? Hayan asked. Minor damage to hull plating on ship 2. No injuries. Good. Send the battle recordings to Earth Defense Force. Let's make sure everyone sees this. The recordings reached Admiral Wu within hours. They reached the Council within days. In the Council chambers, military commanders watched the footage in stunned silence. "What kind of tactics are these?" one asked. "Chaos tactics," another answered. "No formation. No predictable patterns. Pure improvisation. It shouldn't work. Military science says coordinated formations are essential." "Tell that to the Krell Rex," Ixnar said quietly. Velthar made his decision quickly. He sent a message directly to Earth, bypassing normal diplomatic channels. It was a simple plea. "We need your help. Please." The message reached Dr. Mina in her office in Geneva. She was Earth's chief diplomat, responsible for all alien contact. She read the message while drinking cold coffee at 3 in the morning. Her assistant Jin entered without knocking. "You saw it?" "I saw it." Mina set down her cup. "What do we know about the Krell?" Jin pulled up files on his datapad. "Ancient species. Extremely aggressive. They believe in expansion through conquests. The Council fought a war with them 400 years ago. Barely won, pushed them back, but couldn't destroy them. And now they're back. Bigger than before, apparently." Jin showed her intelligence reports. They've been building in secret. New weapons. New ships. They want revenge. Mina stood and walked to her window. Outside, the lights of the city spread toward the horizon. "The Council wants our help. Are we going to give it? That's not my decision alone." Mina turned back to Jin. "Call a meeting. Defense, intelligence, government, everyone needs to be there." The meeting lasted 6 hours. Generals argued with politicians. Scientists debated with strategists. Everyone had opinions, but no one had answers. Finally, Mina spoke. "We have 3 choices. Help the Council. Refuse to help. Or negotiate." "Negotiate what?" someone asked. "Everything." Mina smiled slightly. "They've been trying to recruit us for 10 years. Now they're desperate. We have leverage." Jin understood immediately. "We help them, but on our terms." "Exactly." Word of the decision reached Veltor within days. He traveled to Earth himself, this time without his delegation. Just him, alone, standing in Mina's office. "Thank you for seeing me," he said quietly. Mina gestured to a chair. "Please, sit." Velthor sat. He looked different from the proud ambassador who had offered membership 5 times. He looked tired, worried. "The Krell destroyed 4 more colonies," he said. "Millions dead. Our fleets are holding the line, but barely. We need help." "You'll have it," Mina said. "But first, we need to discuss terms." "Terms?" Velthor's face showed confusion. "This is not a business transaction. This is about survival." "Exactly. Which is why the terms matter." Mina folded her hands on her desk. "You've offered us council membership 5 times? We refused 5 times. But we never said we wouldn't cooperate. What do you want?" "We'll send you a proposal tomorrow. Read it carefully. Discuss it with the council. Then we'll negotiate." Velthar stood slowly. "People are dying while we talk about terms. People will keep dying if we don't get this right." Mina's voice was kind but firm. "We want to help, Ambassador. But we won't compromise our independence. Not even to save the council." After Velthor left, Jin approached Mina. That was harsh. That was necessary. Mina looked at the data Jin had compiled. The council has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. They're used to being in control. We need to show them that helping doesn't mean submitting. And if they refuse our terms, then they fight the Krell alone. Mina's expression hardened. And we prepare to fight the Krell ourselves when they reach our borders. Jin pulled up projections on the main screen. According to these models, if the council falls, the Krell will reach human space in 6 months. Then we better make sure the council doesn't fall. Mina began drafting the proposal. "Get me Admiral Wu and Colonel Hayan. We need military input on this." Earth prepared its offer. the Krell continued their advance. More colonies burned. More ships were destroyed. The Council's confidence crumbled with each defeat, and in the darkness between stars, the Krell commanders smiled. They had planned for this moment for centuries. Soon, the Council would fall. Soon, the galaxy would belong to them. They did not know about humanity yet. That would be their first mistake, and in the wars to come, it would not be their last. The neutral station hung in empty space, exactly halfway between Earth and the Council homeworld. It was ancient, built by a species that had gone extinct millennia ago. Now it served as neutral ground for negotiations. Dr. Mina arrived with a small team. Captain Tay came as military advisor. Admiral Wu represented Earth's defense forces. Jin carried datapads filled with proposals, counter-proposals. In fallback positions, the Council sent 50 representatives. They're trying to intimidate us. Tay observed as the alien delegation filed into the conference room. Let them try, Mina replied calmly. Ambassador Velthor looked haggard. Dark circles showed under his eyes. Behind him, various council members whispered among themselves in a dozen languages. Shall we begin? Mina asked once everyone was seated. Velthor nodded.
No.
Please? Time is precious. Mina activated a holographic display. A document appeared, floating in the air where everyone could see it. Earth's proposal for cooperation against the Krell threat. She paused, letting them read the title. Several aliens leaned forward. Others exchanged glances. Article 1, Mina read aloud. Complete technological independence. Earth retains the right to develop, build, and deploy any technology without council oversight or approval. An alien with blue skin stood up immediately. Unacceptable. All council members share technology. It's fundamental to our cooperation. We're not asking to be council members, Wu interjected. We're offering to be allies. What's the difference? Another alien demanded. Everything, Tay said simply. Mina continued. Article 2. Veto power on any council decision that directly affects Earth territory. Earth citizens or Earth's military forces. The room erupted in protests. Multiple aliens spoke at once, their voices rising in anger and disbelief. Velthor raised his hand for silence. It took several minutes to restore order. Dr. Mina, no species in council history has ever demanded veto power. This would make you superior to all other members, Mina corrected. It would make us equal. Not superior, equal. How is veto power equal? A reptilian delegate hissed. Jin spoke up for the first time. Because you're not asking other council members to fight your war. You're asking us. And we're saying yes, but only on terms that protect our sovereignty. Article 3, Mina continued, ignoring the murmurs. Earth maintains a completely separate military command structure. Human forces will coordinate with Council forces, but will not be subordinate to Council military command. Admiral Wu stood and walked to the holographic display. He pulled up military projections. Look at these numbers. Council doctrine relies on massed formations and numerical superiority. Human doctrine relies on mobility and unpredictability. If you put human forces under Council command, you'll waste our effectiveness. Colonel Haon proved this, Tay added. 3 human ships destroyed 5 Krell vessels without taking casualties. Your fleets lost dozens of ships fighting similar Krell forces. That was luck, someone muttered. Was it? Tay pulled up Haon's battle recording. Watch carefully. Every move was calculated. Every shot was planned. This wasn't luck. This was superior tactics. The room fell silent as the recording played. Even the most skeptical aliens could not deny what they saw. Lieutenant Hannah, who had been quiet until now, added more data to the display. In the past 50 years, humanity has made advances in engine design, weapon systems, and tactical doctrine that match what took Council species 500 years to achieve. Impossible, an elderly alien said. Evidence doesn't lie, Hannah replied. Kai entered the room at that moment. Carrying a small device, He had been summoned from Europa specifically for this meeting. Dr. Mina, permission to demonstrate? Mina nodded. Kai placed the device on the table. It was a miniature FTL engine, no bigger than a basketball. This is our 7th generation drive. It's 30% more efficient than the best Council engine and uses 70% less power. He activated it. The device hummed softly. Diagnostic readings appeared on screens around the room. Multiple aliens stood up to examine it. They ran their own scans. They checked the data repeatedly. Shouldn't be possible, one scientist said. Yet here it is, Kai said simply. Veltar looked at the device. Then at Mina. You've been holding this back, no, Mina said. We've been building it in peace. Which is what we want to continue doing. We'll help you fight the Krell. We'll share military intelligence. We'll coordinate our fleets. But we won't surrender our independence. A long silence followed. Finally, Counselor Ixnar spoke. He had been silent throughout the meeting, simply watching and listening. Dr. Mina, may I ask a question? Of course. Why should we accept these terms? You need us as much as we need you. The Krell will come for Earth eventually. Mina smiled slightly. You're right, they will. Which means we have two choices. Fight them with you under terms that respect our independence. Or fight them alone after you've been defeated. We prefer the first option. But we'll accept the second if necessary. You would let the Council fall? Velthar asked, shocked. We would rather fight beside you, Mina said, but not beneath you. Jin pulled up more data. These are projections showing likely outcomes of various scenarios. If we fight together under Earth's proposed terms, probability of defeating the Krell is 73%. If the Council fights alone, probability of victory is 18%. If Earth fights alone after Council defeat, probability is 41%. You'd risk 41% rather than accept Council command. An alien asked. Yes, Wu said flatly. We'd risk it. Because freedom is worth more than safety. The negotiations continued for 3 days. The Council tried to modify the terms. Earth held firm on the key points. Back and forth they went, finding compromise on small details while the fundamental disagreements remained. On the 4th day, something unexpected happened. Agent Yuna entered the conference room without invitation. Guards moved to stop her, but Velthor waved them back. What are you doing here? He demanded. I'm defecting, Yuna said simply. She walked to where Jin sat and placed a data chip on the table. This contains everything I learned while spying on Earth. All my reports, all my observations, everything. The room went completely silent. Why? Velthar asked. Because I've been lying to you, Yuna looked at the Council delegates. Not in my reports. Those were factually accurate. But in my conclusions, I told you humanity was being stubborn and prideful. I was wrong. They're being wise. She turned to face Ixnar directly. You asked me to find out why humans keep refusing. I'll tell you. They studied your history. They looked at every species that joined the Council over the past 10,000 years. Do you know what they found? No one answered. Every single species that joined gave up their independence within 3 generations. Some slowly, some quickly. But all of them eventually became dependent on Council technology, Council trade, Council protection. They lost the ability to stand alone. That's not true, someone protested. Name one Council species that could survive if the Council fell, Yuna challenged. Name one that has independent technology, independent military, independent economy. Silence. Humanity refuses because they learn from history. And your history teaches them that cooperation without independence leads to assimilation. Yuna walked to Mina and bowed her head. I apologize for spying on you. If you'll have me, I'd like to help negotiate on behalf of Earth. Mina studied her for a long moment. Then she smiled. Welcome to the team. Jin, make room for another chair. The negotiations changed after that, with Yuna providing insight into Council politics and Jin analyzing every proposal. Earth's position strengthened. On the 7th day, Velthar called for a vote among the Council delegates. The chamber was divided. Traditionalists refused to accept human terms. Progressives argued for pragmatism. In the middle, uncertain delegates looked to Ixnar for guidance. The ancient counselor stood slowly. I have lived for 800 years. I have seen the council grow from 12 species to 847. I have watched civilizations rise and fall. And I tell you this, humanity is offering us a gift, not making demands. A gift. Someone scoffed. Yes, they offer us a chance to learn a new way. For 10,000 years, the council has grown by absorption. Perhaps it is time to try growth by cooperation instead. The vote was close. 60% in favor, 40% against. But it passed. Velthor approached Mina with the signed agreement. You win, Dr. Mina. No, Mina said, taking the document. We both win. Now let's go save the galaxy. The Krell Armada appeared at Proxima threshold like a plague. 200 warships, each one massive and bristling with weapons. They had swept through 3 council defense lines already. Now they came for the colony at Proxima, home to 2 million souls. The council's 4th fleet tried to stop them. 70 ships against 200. The battle lasted 3 hours. When it ended, only 12 council ships remained, fleeing in disorder. The Krell advanced toward Proxima colony. Victory was certain. Then Admiral Wu's 1st fleet dropped out of FTL space directly in their path. The Krell commanders must have laughed. 50 human ships, smaller than council vessels, unfamiliar designs. These would be easy prey. They did not know humans yet. Wu sat in the command chair of his flagship, the Indomitable. Around him, his crew worked with calm efficiency. No panic. No fear. They had trained for this. Captain Tay, status on your battle group? Tay's voice came over the comm from his own ship. Ready, Admiral? All ships report green status. Colonel Hayan? Strike teams in position, Heon replied. Waiting for your signal, Lieutenant Hannah? Hannah worked at the sensor station aboard the Indomitable. Enemy fleet, maintaining standard formation. They haven't adapted to our presence yet. Good, let's teach them why that's a mistake. Pulled up the tactical display. All ships, execute pattern Delta. The human fleet scattered. One moment they were in loose formation. The next, they broke apart in what looked like complete chaos. Ships accelerated in different directions. Some dove below the plane of battle. Others climbed above it. A few charged straight at the Krell fleet. The Krell commanders tried to track them all. Their formation tightened, preparing for a standard engagement. That was their 2nd mistake. High-end strike group hit first. 6 small ships, moving faster than anything the Krell expected. They came in low, skimming beneath the larger Krell vessels. Their weapons weren't trying to destroy the big ships. Instead, they targeted engines and weapons systems with surgical precision. Weapons bay destroyed on target. 7. One of Hyan's pilots reported engine cluster damaged on target. 12. Target 15 is venting. Atmosphere. The Krell fleet began to shift, trying to bring weapons to bear on these small, fast ships. But as soon as they moved, Tay's battle group struck from above. Tay commanded 12 medium cruisers. They didn't fight like council ships, which relied on heavy armor and big guns. Instead, they used Kai's new engines to dance through space, never staying still, always moving. Fire on my mark, Tay ordered. His ships lined up for a fraction of a second. Mark. A concentrated barrage hit a single Krell battleship. Shields collapsed. Armor cracked. The ship didn't explode. It simply went dark, dead in space. Next target, Tay said calmly. Aboard the Indomitable, Hannah made a discovery. She had been analyzing the Krell ships since the battle started, looking for patterns. Looking for weaknesses? Admiral, I found something.
House.
Wu turned to her. Show me. Hannah displayed her findings. Their shields regenerate from a central node. All power flows through this junction point. She highlighted a section on the Krell ship schematics. If we can overload that node, the entire shield system collapses, Can we target it? It's small, and it's heavily protected, but yes, with the right weapon and the right angle. Wu smiled. Kai, I hope you're listening. From deep in the ship's engineering section, Kai's voice came through. I heard, give me 10 minutes. You have 5. Of course you do. Become filled with the sound of Kai working frantically. Tools clanging. Systems powering up. Diagnostic alarms. The battle raged around them. High-end ships continued their harassment attacks. Tay's cruisers picked off damaged Krell vessels. But the Krell were adapting. They tightened their formation. They concentrated fire. They began scoring hits on human ships. Breach on the Dauntless, someone reported. The Courageous has lost main. Engines, the Valiant is requesting. Emergency assistance? Ooh. Watched the tactical display. They were hurting the Krell, but not fast enough. The enemy still had over 150 functional ships, and they were advancing on Proxima Colony. For minutes, Kai. Working on it. More sounds of frantic activity. This would be easier if I had proper equipment. Use what you have. I am. It's just that proper equipment wouldn't try to explode every 30 seconds. Despite the tension, several bridge crew members smiled. The Krell commander must have finally understood what was happening. The humans weren't fighting a standard battle. They were fighting a guerrilla war in space. Hit and run. Strike and fade. Never meet force with force. The Krell changed tactics. They stopped trying to catch the human ships. Instead, they accelerated toward Proxima Colony. If they couldn't destroy the human fleet, they would destroy what the humans were defending. They're going for the colony, Tay warned. I see it. Wu made his decision. All ships moved to intercept. We hold the line here. 50 human ships positioned themselves between the Krell Armada and Proxima Colony. No more hit and run. Now it was a direct confrontation. Kai, please tell me you have something.
Something?
Kai's voice was triumphant. Uploading targeting parameters now? But Admiral, we only get one shot. The weapon will burn out after firing. Then we better make it count. Wu designated the largest Krell battleship as the target. It was their flagship, he was certain. All ships concentrate fire on target designated Alpha. We need to drop its shields for just 3 seconds. The human fleet opened fire as one. Missiles, energy weapons, kinetic rounds, everything they had, focused on a single ship. The Krell flagship's shields glowed brighter and brighter as they absorbed the punishment. Shields at 80%, Hannah reported. 70. 60. The Krell fleet returned fire. The Indomitable shook as a hit struck the forward section. Shield failure in Section 7. Reroute power from non-essential systems. Shields at 40%, Hannah continued. 30-20, Kai. Get ready, Wu ordered. Ready. Shields at 10%. 5-3. ... Fire. Kai's weapon was something no one had seen before. It wasn't a missile or an energy beam. It was a focused pulse of exotic matter, derived from principles he had discovered in his FTL research. It traveled at faster than light speeds for just a fraction of a second. Appearing inside the Krell flagship's shield perimeter, the pulse hit the shield generator node precisely. For a moment, nothing happened. Then every shield on the Krell flagship failed simultaneously. All the power that had been feeding the shields backed into the ship's systems. Explosions rippled across the hull. Atmosphere vented. Weapons went offline. The massive battleship simply died. The Krell fleet stopped advancing. Their formation broke as ships tried to protect their no-vulnerable flagship. Confusion spread through their ranks. Wu pressed the advantage. All ships, full assault. What followed was a masterpiece of coordination. Tay's cruisers swept through the Krell formation, targeting the ships trying to protect their flagship. High-end strike group disabled engines and weapons. The main fleet focused fire on any ship that looked like it might rally the Krell forces. The battle lasted another hour. When it ended, the Krell had lost 70 ships destroyed and 43 disabled. The rest fled back toward their own territory. The human fleet had lost 8 ships, with 16 more heavily damaged. But Proxima Colony was safe. 2 million people lived because 50 human ships had held the line in the aftermath. As damage reports came in and wounded were treated, Wu allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. They had done it. Against all odds, they had done it. Admiral, incoming transmission from the Council, a communications officer reported. It's Ambassador Velthor, who accepted the call. Velthor's image appeared on the screen. The ambassador looked different. The pride and confidence were gone, replaced by something else. Respect. Admiral Wu I. We ... Velthor struggled for words. Thank you. You saved 2 million people today. You did our job, Wu replied simply. You did more than that. You showed us what true partnership looks like. Velthor bowed his head. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally apologize for our assumptions about humanity. We were wrong. About everything. Apology accepted, Ambassador. Now let's talk about finishing this war. 2 weeks later, Dr. Mina stood before the full Galactic Council assembly. The chamber that had refused to accept human independence now voted unanimously to accept all of Earth's conditions. Captain Tay and Admiral Wu stood beside her. Behind them, Lieutenant Hannah, Engineer Kai, and Analyst Jin represented the best of humanity's capabilities. Agent Eunice stood with them too. No longer a spy, but an advisor and bridge between two cultures. Colonel Hyun joined via hologram. Still commanding his strike group at the front lines, Counselor Ixnar presented the official documents. The Accord of Equals, he announced. For the first time in our history, the Council recognizes an ally as a true equal, not a subordinate member. Let this be the beginning of a new era. Mina signed first, then Wu. Then representatives from all 847 Council species. After the ceremony, Velthor approached Mina privately. I still don't fully understand, he admitted. Why refuse us so many times? Why risk everything for independence? Mina smiled. Because our ancestors fought for freedom. They died for it, bled for it, sacrificed everything for it. We won't surrender what they gave us, not even for safety, not even for power.